What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly. We were just waiting for Kat to get back from the movies, and she made it. What did you see, Kat?
I watched Good Boy, the dog movie, the dog horror movie, and we ended up watching it at home because it ended up getting out of theaters. So midpoint during the movie, we're like, maybe we put this on 1.25 speed. So it's very fun to see the dog run fast, but I don't recommend. It wasn't. I think it was too long for just a movie about here it is from the dog's perspective. So wasn't my favorite, but I'm glad we watched a movie.
That's good. I was just chatting before we went live here, and it was like, oh yeah, my wife went to the office today, and I actually got to see. I've seen it before, but I haven't seen them in so long, and it was like I watched Kick-Ass and I watched Kick-Ass 2, and we're saying like I really had a lot of fun with those, and I actually started. We talked about it like a couple of weeks ago or whatever. Like I wanted to see The Invisible Man, that 2020 movie when it came out. And I had to stop it with like 20 minutes left. And I got to the part where it was revealed that, I mean, this movie's old, but the lawyer knew that the husband was still alive, and she was giving the wife an ultimatum to go back to the husband. That movie's good, man. I was surprised. Like when he got right to that part, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this movie's like really getting good right now, you know? And I'm just like right before like the final act starts to happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends.
I remember being pleasantly surprised by that because I walked in being like, I don't know anything really about The Invisible Man, and I enjoyed it. So I saw that one in theaters a while back, but it's good if you guys are looking for a cool, scary movie.
I just watched Ready Player One for like the 6th time.
Sometimes you need the comfort movies.
It's one of those whenever it's somewhere, it just got added back to Netflix. I'm like, I'll just watch it again.
I saw it on there too, and I'm like, can you imagine if the world was like Ready Player One? Like I couldn't imagine that, dude. Like who would ever leave?
Right? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I should watch it though.
I've never seen it. It's so good. You got
it's a good movie. It really is.
Yeah, Iron Giant, all those. Yeah,
got so many Easter eggs in it, like just all kinds of stuff. Whether you're old, young, in between, stuff like that. So definitely a fun movie. But we got a cool show for you. It's funny because there's not a lot of comics, there's not a lot of news. So we're going to try to fill in some other stuff in here. So
if you guys have questions, this is a good time.
Yeah, this is a good time to have
one of those shows.
Yeah, absolutely. So Kat, why don't you take it away with like the overwhelming amount of news we have.
Overwhelming. I was actually just checking on one of the sites. Is there any news that I missed when I was out? And there is not. So we're going to start out with the movie news. That's a really quick piece, which is Southern Bastard or TV news. Southern Bastard is getting a pilot. That was the Jason Latour comic from a while ago. I just thought it was interesting because it was a very popular comic when it came out, and I am curious if that will bring more eyes to it or if it won't. I know it's about football in some way. I never read it, so I kind of like when a TV show adapts a comic I've never read, because then I actually can watch it and not feel like, oh man, I already know what's happened. So I might give it a shot.
I never read it either, believe it or not.
Yeah, I never did either.
That name changes says watch The Curse of Michael Myers on Halloween. That's fun. I'll say I don't know if that's the best Halloween movie, but it's definitely sometimes the bad Halloween movies are the most fun to watch on Halloween. Yeah, and we got some highs in here. That's all the media news. We're gonna go into some comic news, and we'll start with Punisher getting an ongoing series. So the Red Band series is its own thing, and now we are gonna get pretty much the same creative team, but it's not going to be Red Band, which honestly, a big part of why I like the current series is that is Red Band. So I don't really know what that's going to look like after this.
Yeah, I guess they thought, well, we've already got the Marvel Knights one. We can't do, 2 ongoings, more mature or whatever, which is, just weird. I'd rather they just keep the Red Band and get rid of the Marvel Knights personally. But
it's probably not even going to be that much different though. I mean,
maybe not.
Like you guys know, I read a lot of Benjamin Percy stuff, and just based off of like what you saw in Predator and Spider-Man and stuff like that. Like a lot of his books are very brutal. They tend to be a little bit more gory, tends to push the envelope a little bit more. So, I mean, I'm not worried about it too much. I mean, even the most recent issue of Punisher, what was it? The second one? It wasn't like it didn't even need to be red band. Like there was nothing really in there. The first issue was a little bit gory and a little bit bloody, but the second one wasn't all that much. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm looking forward to the series. I just don't know why you come out with a 4-issue miniseries just to release ongoing, like almost immediately after.
It's like if it was testing ground, that would be fine, but it seems like they've already had this, planned, right?
Sure.
They couldn't put that together that fast, I wouldn't think. But
right, exactly.
I just realized,
especially because the series has it. I don't think it's gonna pick up new readers by doing that. I think it'll probably pick up less readers because we're like, oh, this is a good point where I don't have to pick this up anymore.
Yeah. I just realized, speaking of Benjamin Percy, both Mike and I are wearing Wolverine shirts, which is kind of fun.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I'm wearing a
like the
Tokyo
Marvel logo.
shirt. That's kind of close.
Yeah, mine's like the Marvel logo with claw marks through it.
Oh yeah, this is the one that I got right there.
Yeah, nice.
I got that one at Target, actually. A lot of people ask me, like, where do you get your shirts, Mike? You must get a Target. Like, seriously, guys, go to Target. They have so many, like, comic book shirts.
Yeah, Kohl's also has a lot of graphic.
Yeah, they do.
A lot of mine there.
And honestly, they good price too. So
go
check them out. All right, next up let's talk about the Armageddon event. So Marvel's teasing Chip Zdarsky doing cough an Avengers event. So I think it's probably looking like he'll probably take over the Avengers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this event doesn't really excite me very much. And Chip Zdarsky let me see if there's a description. It's Origins of the End. It's the universe-shattering event. I don't know. It doesn't really excite me too much.
It's spinning out of Captain America, which he's writing. So
I stopped reading it.
Yeah, me too. I that's what I was about to say. So I don't know like how to feel about this. I'm glad they're doing something, and like you said, it kind of gives us a hint at who's taking over Avengers. But yeah, I don't know. I need to hear more about this, I guess.
Armageddon, it arrives this June though.
Yeah,
like June. So who's going to write the Avengers like in that meantime?
That's
because
true. Yeah.
800 is Jed McKay's last issue.
He might be writing it before this event. It could just be launching and then he writes it because this is just the event.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Maybe he's writing it up to that point, and then the event, and then somebody else takes over.
Oh my God, jeez. These guys just, if that's the case, then it's like, why even bother? Like, why even, like, we can't even get people on a title for like a year anymore. Like, it's so crazy.
No, it's wild. It's, again, doesn't excite me. And that's a shame because, again, I want something from Marvel to excite me. There is something from this week we'll talk about that maybe Marvel's promising a little bit more from these characters. We'll see. We'll talk about it. We do have a couple. Go on, Brent.
Oh, I was going to say, just as on the Armageddon thing, it also says this ties into Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion. What happened at the end of that, the boxes that he took home or whatever. So it's tying into that and Captain America. So that's like, okay.
Nothing too exciting. We do have a question about Red Band. Why do they cut out the cuss words on the Red Band books? Honestly, don't know.
It should, if it's a Red Band book, it should have curse words. It should, if it's going to throw the violence and you have curse words in it, just like say it. I mean, there's other independent comics out there that just totally say it, maybe because it's the Disney name, but I don't know. That bugs me a little bit, And it doesn't mean like you have to just put in curse word after curse word after curse word, but when you have it, you can, why not throw it in there,
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be Red Band, make it Red Band. This is for mature readers, supposedly, right? So just go all out.
We also have a question from Tyler Durden. Have I seen the guy dressed up as a rat in New York? I have personally not seen him. I just looked him up. I haven't seen him. So Maybe one day. It's like the naked cowboy back in the day. You
Yeah.
never know. All right, let's get into, believe it or not, our last news piece, which is Wanda is the Sorcerer Supreme. And this is spinning out of the Wanda stuff. So if you've been enjoying, I know that Brant's been reading Scarlet Witch and has been enjoying it. So if you've been reading that stuff, it's continuing from that. But once again, I don't know if this is exciting enough for me to be like, whoa, this is great. I'm going to pick this up. If it's a low week, I probably will pick it up. But if I'm getting a lot of comics, I don't know if I pick this one up. It's continuing a series that's been going on, which it seems like it's been pretty solid for the people reading it. But as someone who hasn't been, I don't know if it does too much for me.
Yeah, it's interesting because I really was under the impression not many people were reading this. Like I was one of the few, it's that kind of thing. Nobody talks about it or anything that I see. I love the series. I loved it since the beginning of it. It's been multiple, short runs, so multiple volumes or whatever. And so, like you said, this is the next one. But it's like, it's a weird choice, A, because I don't feel like a lot of people are paying attention to Scarlet Witch, and B, because it wasn't that long ago where nobody wanted Scarlet Witch to have any power at all. So it's like, okay, now she's got the ultimate power. I don't know. It's a weird move. I'll read it because, again, I'm a fan of the series under that creative team, but weird move. Yeah.
I haven't read hardly anything of this Scarlet Witch. I read a couple of issues of that very first one from Steve Orlando, right?
I think I read the first issue of that.
And that's been it. Like, so it does pique my curiosity though, with her being Sorcerer Supreme, to the point where maybe I might jump on just to see how the character deals with that, and maybe something different will happen. I don't know. So I know there's people out there that have a problem with her being Sorcerer Supreme. I personally don't. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I don't know, but I'll check it out and see.
My one concern is that she's already kind of an OP character.
Yeah, she is.
And especially in her book, like she's got this door where people, walk in and she solves all their problems, and she's just very powerful. Yeah, she's very powerful in that book. She's like containing like this dark power within her and all this different stuff. So to give her that power on top of it, it's like, man, is anybody going to be able to, handle her at all? I don't know, but it's weird, but I'm a fan. So there you go.
So is Doctor Strange still stuck on Asgard then?
I don't know. I kind of fell off that series as well when it was going on.
Like, why can't? Yeah, me too. I mean, like, I have no idea like why he can't make his way back there. Yeah, so if you guys are in the comments there, let us know, because I don't think any of us read that book or that series.
I read a couple of issues and then I fell off of it. So, yeah.
I don't know if I've even read. I must have read the first issue of that, but I don't even know if I read more than it. And the magical side of Marvel's never been my bag, so didn't really continue it. But like we said, we'll see about the Sorcerer Supreme stuff. But once again, I just want something that's like really exciting, because I'm gonna be like, whoa! Like, again, we speak of DCKO, and we'll get into the X-Men stuff. That's our main topic. But when DCKO was announced, we were like, whoa, that's a really cool concept. And the way they're promoting it felt like there was a lot of effort behind it. Like, I feel like Marvel does a PR drop sometimes, and then they're like, here it is. What do you think? And let's turn into our main topic, which is the X-Men stuff. So we've been, for the most part, reading Revelations. For me, I'm not getting most of the issue 2s. I think I'm going to get the Laura book just because that's continuing for the next series. I'll get the Iron Frost one because I like that. And I'm trying to think if there's any other ones I really liked. I think those are the 2 I'm getting is Iron Frost and that one. I'll probably get the one that the Exceptional X-Men spinoff is, just because
it's Expatriate, by the way.
Expatriate. Thank you. I've never know how to pronounce it. And I don't think
I was the same way. I'm like, how do you say that? Expatriate. I was
Expatriate. I'm trying to think if there's any other books that I was really enjoying from X-Men and Revelations. Is there any books that you guys are definitely getting for issue 2s?
I mean, the Iron and Frost. What was it, Mike?
The amazing.
Right. I'll get the Radioactive. Yeah.
Gotcha. like you said, the Iron and Frost one, the Laura one, and I'm trying to remember if there were any
I'm looking at
others.
my list. I think those are the only ones I'm getting out of
Um,
all those, and I read a lot of them.
I'm on the fence about the Expatriate one.
Mm.
I like the characters, but
I have to get the Kitty one, which I don't even remember which series that is. The
that's
Revelations one.
Book of Revelation, I think.
Yeah, so I'll get that. Honestly, I probably won't even we'll probably talk about it later because I think it came out this week. The X period. Yeah, it did. I didn't even like it that much, so I just I don't even know if I want to get it.
Yeah, I'll probably get Amazing. I don't know. I can't remember all of them now.
I know I'm getting I'll get Amazing X-Men, I'll get the Radioactive Spider-Man, the Iron Frost. I might get the Cloak and Dagger or Cloak or Dagger.
I'll get
Cloak and Dagger. That seemed that was this week, and we'll talk about that, I think. But I think besides that, that might be it. Like I was looking at a couple of the others that I did read that I thought were okay, and then I go back to it and I'm like, nah. I'm like, I really want to, you know what I'm saying? Because it's like there's no point. And I think there was one that I wasn't going to get, but I liked it for the cover. I think it was Sinister Six.
Long Shots, maybe.
Or no, it was Long Shots because they had Patsy Walker on the cover. It was a variant cover. So I was like, I'll get that, not because of the story, but because of the cool cover.
Yeah.
And then just because it's a cool cover, I'll read it.
Yeah, I think I saw you talk about that in the hall.
Right.
The hall, yeah.
Well, speaking on how did X-Men get here, I think is the question. Because I didn't love Krakoa, but I didn't hate Krakoa in the beginning. I was like, oh, it's something different. I do think it was very long-winded as someone, who's not Krakoa high. I know a lot of people are. But I liked the beginning because it was very different. I do think it lasted way too long. And I did have this feeling of having to read every series that was out to understand everything. And there was a lot of series that was out. It wasn't like 3. It was like 15. And you're like, you have to read every single thing to understand what was going on. But I do think Krakoa had an identity. I will say the beginning of this new era got me excited because I'm like, oh, it's classic, but also like it seems like it's real character stories, and I really feel like it lost itself. Uncanny X-Men's an example of that, where it didn't really have a direction. Honestly, all of them didn't really have a direction, except My Exceptional X-Men did have a direction for people who like that series. I know it wasn't for everybody, but that's something I enjoyed. It was very specific. And we'll talk about other like Emma Frost, things like that. They're very specific for a specific type of fan. And I like that for the X-Men. I think it needs it, but I honestly, I don't know what the answer is because I think Krakoa is too much of an extreme, and I think this is too much of an extreme. I think we need to meet in the middle of reinvention with classicness, and I don't know how to get there.
I think about it, and when I look at Krakoa Age and the introduction to it, it was phenomenal. Really, it was. And it wasn't towards the latter half and towards the end where it got real convoluted, where you had to read everything. I think as Hickman was on there, it was really good. And the main X-Men title, whichever one he wrote, I don't remember which one it was, that was a really good title as well. But it did seem like the X-Men did have a purpose. Now, the one thing I didn't like was, okay, well, all the mutants became like basically friends in a way, because that's what I didn't like, because then you never saw those classic fights like Magneto, Mr. Sinister, or the Hellfire Club. They were all together. So then what happens then is you eliminate all the greatest enemies, and they don't have those iconic battles that they've had for years and years. So that was kind of the issue that you had. You had them sitting around a freaking table, talking with each other, making decisions, and you're just kind of like, all right. And there was few and far between of stories where there was some action involved. But the concept of Krakoa, I thought, was really well done. Now, when you look at this point in time with X-Men, I honestly didn't really like it from the start. I mean, you guys know how I felt with Uncanny X-Men with the introduction to the new characters. I think if you introduced one character or whatever it was, it would have been fine. I thought the Grell Malcolm stuff was okay. And then once it veered away from that, it just kind of went down for me. And Jed McKay's X-Men was cool. It looked good. There was action in it. Was a little bit more of a classic side of things. But again, it was just like Avengers. And Avengers is this rinse and repeat. And that's the same thing that you got out of X-Men. So it never felt like there was anything moving towards, there was no purpose. And I guess in a way, maybe it was because it got to this event, but it came on like very sudden. It's like, hey, here was Doug. And Doug makes his appearance like Lord knows how many issues later. And now all of a sudden he's like freaking Apocalypse. And let's go to this event. You know, if people did not read that 4-issue event when it was like, what was it, last year or something like that? Yeah, people are like, what the heck? How did this guy become Apocalypse? You know? So it's so weird.
Yeah, and I just feel like this Revelations event in particular, what we keep saying is it just doesn't feel like it matters. So what's the point of investing so much time and money? There's so much money you're going to dump into this event if you're reading all the tie-ins or whatever. Even if you're reading some of them, it's so much money. And it's just like, where is it leading to? Like, what's the next chapter of X-Men? And I think it's a shame when all your franchises are kind of weak right now, because obviously, again, you want X-Men to be strong. You want Spider-Man to be strong. And nothing right now is too strong. And I don't know, it's a shame. I just like, again, I want stories like, we're going to talk about the Emma Frost book in a bit, but the Emma Frost book has solid art, is a good character story, and it's a lost episode adventure. Like, it doesn't even have to lead anywhere, and it still feels more important than this X-Men Revelations book.
It literally is, and no pun intended, a diamond in the rough. That's what that book is, man.
Just to get my thoughts on all that, I kind of agree with both of you. Like, the beginning of Krakoa, I thought was really strong. I like the concept, but I agree with you, Mike. It was like, it got to a point where it was just talking heads all the time. There was no conflict. Yeah. There was the government they were kind of fighting, but not really. They would just show up every once in a while. So it just kind of got boring and repetitive after a while. And with the beginning of this, I was more like you, Kat. I was kind of excited about it. I thought Uncanny had a good roster of characters. I thought X-Men had a good setting and good, interesting concept. But then both of those series just kind of got away from what they started out to be. And I guess you could see the build up to Age of Revelation in X-Men if you put together the pieces, like the 3K and the virus and all that stuff. But because that book bounced around from plot to plot a little bit, you couldn't really get a grasp on it. You couldn't see where it was going. And you definitely couldn't see how it tied into all the other X characters. And so when this event came on, it was just like you said, it was just out of nowhere. And it felt like, I don't know. It's just weird. It felt like they were trying to make a new Age of Apocalypse, but in this case, it really doesn't feel like there will be any ramifications from it.
Yeah,
anything that's going to affect them going forward, because they obviously can't leave things like that. That would change the entire Marvel universe, and they're not going to do that. So,
yeah. I mean,
there's an interesting comment to be on the more positive side. How's it going, guys? I personally have never really connected to the X-Men on the page or screen, but like hearing people talk about why they like it. So I kind of want to talk about, why do we like the X-Men? What do we want to see from the X-Men? For me personally, it is the interpersonal relationships. I love the soap opera-ness of it. But I need those interpersonal relationships to go somewhere. I don't like when it's like, well, Kitty's known for this, so she kind of stays this way. Like, a reason I really love Marauders, that was my favorite series through and through for Krakoa, is because you did change those relationships. You changed the setting, and it felt like it mattered. Emma and Kitty's relationship is forever changed because of that book. So I like that, because it was very much about interpersonal relationships. So that's, for me, what I like about the X-Men. Obviously, you have the themes of like being othered and things like that. But really, what I like is just seeing them interact with each other.
That's the thing about the X-Men. They've always been kind of an allegory for, groups of people that are hated or feared or are different and that kind of thing. So they were always that that connective tissue for readers like that, and that's something that everybody can connect to on some level. So they're very relatable, but also at their core, they were always kind of a family. It was like the school was never
Mhm.
just a school. It was never a training ground for, superheroes. It was about giving these characters that had nowhere else to go, had no one else to turn to, a place to become part of something. And it became a family where they really cared about each other. And those elements I think get lost sometimes, especially like right now. I there's a little bit of it, but it's like you were talking about, Kat, the character development, the interpersonal relationships and stuff like that that they used to focus on a lot more are few and far between. But that's what I
I
like.
mean,
Yeah.
when you look at it, what made the X-Men so great is that, like you said, they are not only, fighters or, heroes, but they're people, they're a family, and you also had um, a great creator. I mean, you
Sure.
had the creator, the writer, write these characters for years. And
Decades.
yeah, and we talk about again the consistency of a writer, and when the writer has all the time in the world to develop it, to develop the characters, you're going to make some great stories. And like you said, Kat, it's like it was a soap opera. Like you get introduced to the original cast of characters, and you got to see these characters grow before our eyes, like issue after issue, year after year, the relationships, the on and off, the battles, and just you were at the edge of your seat in every single issue. And now it just doesn't seem like we kind of run into the same problem with like Spider-Man. It's just these characters have stopped in their tracks. They're just there. They're just a shell of them former selves. It's like, oh look, yeah, Kitty Pryde shows up in a comic book. I can't wait to read that. And it's just kind of like, how has the character grown? How has the character gotten better?
And when they do want to make these characters grow, like Kitty Pryde, for example, there was a really cool arc with that potential girlfriend. There was a good arc with her bartending stuff, and they never followed through on any of it. It's like
Yeah.
all those
Yeah.
storylines that was more interesting because again, it was about Kitty. It was about her growth. They left behind to talk about the other students or to end the series abruptly to launch into this event. It's
Yeah.
like, well, that was the interesting stuff. I want to know what Kitty's life is interacting with a normal person. That's interesting. That's different for Kitty because she's always interacting with the X-Men. And her roommate was like a normal person. Like that was fun too. Like those are things I enjoy from them. And something I want to bring up, because again, this is coming from people that were not, I don't think I've read a Superman series for as long as I have with Joshua Williamson. Joshua Williamson is the longest running Superman series I've read because I usually jump on and jump off. Superman's a good example of not changing the status quo too much, but having stories progress and actually like do things that are exciting, And I that's an example of what X-Men can do, because really the reason Superman's so successful, because A, it's tying into the main world, which is DCKO, but then also it's just the interpersonal relationships. It's what's Lois and Superman up to, how Supergirl joined the party. That's what's fun.
Here's an interesting comment here. It says, it seems that family element of comic stories isn't as popular as it once was. Fantastic Four, X-Men almost seem out of time in some ways. Not my opinion, just how it seems. I mean, if it's written right, I think a family dynamic is in some ways, very many ways, a better storyline. But you got to do it the right way.
The
You
movie
got to
was
do it the right
successful.
way. It's just like, again, if I'm going to sit there and write a team book is a family dynamic.
Yeah.
And if you don't have those heroes in any type of team or relationship with each other and they just fight opponents, there's no depth, there's no growth, there's nothing there, there's no emotion. It's what makes a book because these people care for each other. They're family.
Yeah.
I do want go on, right? You said
go
first. I was going to read this comment. Something great about the Superman book is also how much it ties back to old Superman stories, where it strengthens the book, but also still good and fun without the history. Yeah, it doesn't feel like nostalgia for nostalgia's sake. Another good example of that, and I think everyone's still reading it here, Supergirl. Supergirl does a really good job of feeling like a Silver Age book, but doesn't make that the whole concept. It's not like, if you love the Silver Age, you'll enjoy this. It's just like an added layer of like, oh, we're going to have this Silver Age feel, but still make it modern. Have Lena, have this new character. Which makes it feel different, and why the Supergirl book feels a little bit more successful than maybe some previous Supergirl books that was just trying to tie into the TV shows. Like, oh, Dio, that's popular for the Supergirl show. Let's do that. Yeah.
Tevye mentioned Ultimate Spider-Man. Yeah, the same thing. It was in the beginning, at least, until we found out his ending, and everything just kind of went weird. But like a big part of the success of that, I think, was the family dynamic between Peter and Mary Jane and their kids, and all of that, and trying to navigate this new world before them together, and all of that. So I think that's what made that book special. So yeah, it's relationships that sell you on most stories. I would think. I mean, you look at any like successful show, book, comic, in history, and there's like relationships. There's there's character growth. There's development. There's those interpersonal relationships.
Like
we talked about that.
Walking Dead, for instance. Rick started by himself, and he acquired allies along the way, and they basically became family. Exactly. And so what Robert Kirkman does is he develops the character to the point where you care so much about them that when they got killed off, you physically were like, holy shit, I can't believe this just happened.
Right. Yeah.
So that's when you have a good writer that can do that, that will move you, and I'll even make an example with Geiger. Geiger is a character that's just a glowing guy that has, cancer, and he's, he has radiation powers, and he's on his own. And now he found a friend in a night. He got a 2-headed dog. He's got a zebra, and, he's got these strange allies along the way. But you know what? In that rough exterior, he still has that heart.
It's very much like when Wolverine joined the X-Men. He was like so, standoffish, but he slowly started to melt into this like, family dynamic where he's like this, strong but silent uncle type and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's very similar to that. And
I do want to mention Tevye's comment too. Like, I read Absolute Batman. That series has Batman's mom alive. That's been interesting. But it's even more than that. So like, that's interesting because obviously she's this wild card. We don't know what's going to happen with her because we don't know. But the other aspect is they made a modern Batman. Like, obviously Batman's origins always was like he was in the alley 1920s mugging. Now it's about real life. It's about shootings. And obviously we'll talk about this issue, but that's about real life too. Like, it's more modern. It's more of a statement of what's going on today. So that's why that's so unique.
And it also has relationships because he has a friend group now. It's not just Batman against the world or Batman with his ward that he's, kind of keeps at arm's length. It's, this whole group of people that care about each other and are in each other's lives and everything. So it's, again, it goes back to family in some way or another.
Sure. And also even, it's interesting to look at like Batman for Matt Fraction, because that's like a book. He's about relationships, but it's more serialized. It's like, okay, this is going to be about Tim. This is going to be about, a villain. And that's something that's been really fun to see too. You don't need to have this long sprawling story to have stories about character. And again, those stories aren't that different. We've seen silly Tim. We've seen silly Batman. We've seen Batman talk to a villain and have a heart to heart, but the way it's written feels unique and what we want from these characters. So
and I mean, that goes back to X-Men though, like, because that's what X-Men were. The X-Men were a family. They were a team. And when someone died or suffered, like what's her face, Jean Grey, right? When originally she died, it was like, there's a big deal, I mean, there's something wrong when you have a whole initiative of X-Men titles that were released just a year ago, and how many of them wind up getting canceled, right? I mean, not counting Uncanny X-Men or whatever it is, but when you look at those secondary titles, like you had Phoenix and X-Force and NYX and all those other titles, they basically did not even make it past 12 issues, 9 issues, 10 issues. That is an issue, period.
Because they're just random characters thrown together. And that's like almost every Marvel issue one these days. Like, here are these random characters together. Let's have them fight in the first 10 pages. That's every Marvel issue one. Fight. Let's go back and see kind of why they're here. And then a cliffhanger that's somewhat interesting, but not really that interesting. Get you to issue 2.
It's like we don't know what else to do with these characters.
Yeah.
But, to their credit, I will say that, like, the current run, they have elements that they could have built on that do kind of exemplify everything. Like Glob cooking in the X-Men. That fun little things like that. Like the beginning where you had the conflict in ideology between Rogue and Cyclops. And you have like little bits and pieces, little highlights of the classic X-Men stuff and those, family dynamics and everything, but it's not enough.
They never follow through. Yeah. It's like they took like the Cliff Note version of like X-Men and been like, oh, look, these guys had fun when they were interacting with each other. We're going to make a scene of this. But they never like continue to grow anybody's, personality. The one thing I could say, if I had to pick a character that Jed MacKay has done well, I think is Cyclops. I think I think he might have done pretty decent with him. But otherwise, I don't know, man. I don't know. All I'm hoping is that after this whole thing is over with and this other wave of maybe comics come out with the X-Men, that maybe it takes a turn a little bit. Maybe they course correct and fix their mistakes here. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, we can only hope, right? I mean, otherwise, what was the point? I mean, and I think that's the whole problem with Age of Revelation. We've said it multiple times. We said it tonight. It's like it doesn't feel like it matters. And when an event doesn't feel like it matters, I don't know where you go from there, right? Like go ahead, Kat.
No, I was gonna say we even mentioned the Doom event too. I think it was last week where we were like, wait, Fantastic Four is going on. It kind of ties into the Fantastic Four, but it doesn't. And if it's gonna tie into anything, it should be the Fantastic Four.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. It's like if there is some kind of huge thing that comes out of Age of Revelation that affects the X-Men going forward in some significant way, okay, cool. But at the same time, it just because all the things we mentioned, because it came on so quickly, because there was no hype around it, because it doesn't make sense for it to tie into all this stuff, and because it doesn't feel like there's anything that's going to come out of it, it just makes it less exciting, makes it less accessible.
Yeah.
And that's the thing too. Like people coming in and trying to pick up an X book right now, it's like you're gonna be totally lost.
Yeah, like what
because they're all over the place. Yeah.
And those Age of Revelation books are just not even really. You can't even really call them tie-ins. They're just like stories that is happening at the same time as the Age of Revelation.
Yeah, they don't even connect. They're not even really
in any way.
Yeah,
and they're so short too. It's like you don't have time to invest in any of the stories anyway. So
but also I don't want this for 5 months, so it's a lose-lose.
Yeah, and it's like again, there's some interesting concepts there. The Cloak or Dagger thing, which we'll talk about, I think is interesting. There's interesting things going on, but the actual event itself is just like, okay, it's gonna be here for a few months, and then we just go back to whatever.
Nothing's going to happen out of those spin-off titles.
True.
It's not like Spider-Man is going to have an extra arm.
Right.
It's not like the Cloak or Dagger story may be interesting right now, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to matter.
And
because they're not going to get a book. Yeah.
And they're not emotional enough to feel like 1 or 2 issues are enough. Because if you have an emotional punch and you have a really good story that's just like 2 issues, that's fine. You can have a good 2-issue story. It's just that you have to have a really good emotional punch to do so.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of these feel like, wouldn't it be cool if, and then it's like a scene. These series are like a scene, that people thought of and built a story around. That's kind of what it feels like. But
they should.
No disrespect, to the writers and everything. Go ahead, Mike.
They should have had this though. I had this Alvin up too. That could have been cool.
Yeah, that's at least funny. Revelation. But that's funny. Like we would pick that up because at least that's like again, fun. That's why we're enjoying the Venom series, because it's funny. It's something a little different. It's light. Like it's not the best Venom series ever, but it's like, all right, like I'm having a good time with this. Like not everything has to be so serious either. I mean, that's the side of Age of Revelations that is not succeeding, is that everything feels the same too.
That's true. Yeah. It would be funny if Paul like was one of these that got mutant powers and now he's like some overlord. He's on a revenge quest or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It would be funny.
Yeah, but I guess
in this universe, maybe Peter and Paul get together instead of what's her name, Cecile. I don't remember what's the character's name he's with right now. The doctor. I don't even remember. See, that's how little.
Yeah, I'm honestly trying to remember, and I can't remember her name. Shay. Is it Shay?
Something with a
Peter.
C, yeah.
Petersworth? Yeah, her name.
No, the one that's in the Age of Revelations book, not the
the
mutant
and radioactive.
Yeah. She starts with the C too. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think it might be
Peter in the alternate universe.
The fourth significant other.
So bad. I really didn't like that. I just like Cecilia Reyes. Thank you. I know she's an X-Men character too. She's one of those X-Men characters just always in the background.
Yeah.
I never notice her. Yeah, it's just I don't know her very well. And that's, we've all been reading X-Men forever, and she's just not someone who has ever stood out. So to put her in radioactive.
I don't even know what she does.
I looked her up because again, I was like, I've seen her before, but I don't know who she is. Right? And she's like a doctor or a nurse or something like that.
I remember some like old storyline where she was just like always, fixing them up after a battle or something.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember she was with Forge, I think, a lot. That's like a little hazy, but I think I remember that.
Now that you say that.
Right? That makes sense. I'm like, I think she was there. But yeah, that's our X-Men talk. If you guys have any questions throughout, we definitely can answer some random topics in between, but we will jump into comics. But before we jump into comics, I do have a Kickstarter going on right now. So if you are still in the witchy season and want to check out witching season, it's getting closer and closer to funding. We have about a week left, and it is horror witch stories with some of the best in comics. We got Sweeney Boo on a cover, Skylar Patridge, Jess Fong. We also have Heather Antos and Alex Agora, Stephanie Williams, Dan Parent, who's done a lot of the Archie stuff. So go check it out if you're looking for some witches. Now we're going to jump. Yeah, go.
I was going to say, speaking of Kickstarter, I saw something today about there's like this Marvel behind the scenes Secret Wars book on Kickstarter.
I didn't even hear about that. It's probably from. I know Clover does a lot of those. I'm curious if they launched it.
It's from Universal Galactic Worldwide.
I haven't even heard of them.
Yeah,
that's cool though.
Yeah, it's cool. They're not anywhere near their goal, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
I think they got like 3 weeks to go, but I just thought that was interesting. It's
what is their goal?
25,000.
Yeah,
pretty high goal.
No,
yeah,
it's behind the scenes.
It's got interviews with a bunch of big names and stuff like that, and a lot of like behind the scenes images and stuff. I saw that on Instagram today. Just thought I'd mention.
I didn't even go into my purview, but I'll definitely check it out. We do have another question from Tyler Durden. You guys going to see the new Predator movie? Probably not. I haven't really. I don't think I've really seen any Predator.
I might
movies,
wait until it comes on the digitally released. That's all.
Yeah, I'll read the Marvel Predator, the Marvelverse Predator instead.
I'm not a huge fan. I saw the first one. I saw Predator versus Alien, I think.
My God, that's so old.
I know. Yeah, it's like I don't know. I wanted to watch that new one that was on Hulu.
I heard that was good.
I heard it was
I
good
saw
too,
some of it, but we stopped it because something had happened that we just never watched it again. I watched like 15 minutes of it.
I wanted to talk about something real quick before we dived into the comics. So this was sent to me from Comic Capsule. So I'm not sure if you guys heard of Comic Capsule before, but they are a company that uses capsules to protect your comics. So you can see like this stuff out here is used by Comic Capsules. So in case you don't want to get your comic books graded, you can get Comic Capsules. But now they just came out with the actual slab screen. So I have two of them here. One is for CBCS and the other one is for CGC. So what a slab screen is is that when you have graded comic books, they're not UV protected. So believe it or not, so you can hang them up,
Crazy.
but then if you get that UV hit in that cover, it's still going to fade that cover. So what Comic Capsule came up with is this. It's like a cell phone protector. It's exactly what that is. So you take it off of there, you put it on the slab, and now your slab is completely UV protected, and
That's cool.
and then you don't have to worry about your books getting damaged. You can hang them, you can display them, you can do whatever you want for them. So if you guys are interested, just check out comiccapsule.com. They sent me these two in the mail, and I was like, oh, I'll shout you guys out. I'm like, that's pretty cool of you. So yeah, something definitely different.
Yeah, you would think they would be protected. That's crazy, but yeah.
I know, right? Yeah, but no, it's like protected in so many other ways, but not from UV. So
CGC's got to work on that one. That's their next. Yeah. That's their next venture.
Exactly. All right, so let's dive into those comics, guys. First thing we're going to talk about is one of those books, those Age of Revelation books, where it's not going to have to do with anything, but it's on Deadpool issue 1.
The thing I was so confused with this book, and obviously you see the title and you're like, oh, it's on Deadpool. And it's just like, oh, wait, this is a book that is the opposite of Deadpool. Who is this for? And that was kind of when I was reading it. I'm like, all right, so it's not the laughter like Deadpool fans want. And as someone who's not a huge Deadpool fan, I don't really feel like I got much from it. So I just didn't quite understand who this book was for.
I thought it was an interesting concept when we heard about it, that he can't talk and all this stuff, but when you get into the story and understand why he can't talk and stuff, then it's like, okay, this is kind of like the zombie Deadpool, but he doesn't talk, but he's not a zombie. He's like a mutant force siphon kind of thing. It was weird. It was honestly, I didn't think it was bad, but I don't think I need it, and I don't think I needed to read it. Was kind of my issue with it. And also it was, kind of promoted as it's Deadpool, but he can't, he doesn't talk. He doesn't talk like Deadpool and stuff, but you still got that. Yeah, because you got his inner monologue. So
he does talk. He does talk at the end. Once he eats enough and his hunger is controlled, then he can think and be himself.
Yeah.
My thing with this comic was I didn't think it was a horrible story.
Right.
I do kind of like the creepy element of it. Like he's like eating these kids one by one. I thought that was kind of cool. There was some fun moments in there. I know he was talking about dark comic books in there also.
Yeah, that was fun.
But I was like, oh, a Deadpool that doesn't talk, that's right up my alley. And he fucking talked more than ever than he did before. I was just like,
it just wasn't funny.
And it was just like his inner monologue was so much,
Yeah.
So I didn't mind the issue. Again, I liked the art. I thought it was creepy. It reminded me of a horror movie, right? And I was like, I might check out issue 2, but I really don't know where they're going with it. I guess it's it has to do with Cable at the end. So, we'll see what happens. I don't know. I might try it. I guess it depends on the comic book week to see if I try issue 2.
That made it less interesting for me, though, that it was Cable. It was like, okay, this is just
another Deadpool
book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I too liked the other characters, but then they just, got killed one by one. I thought they were interesting. I thought it would be kind of cool to follow those characters. So yeah, like you said, I don't think it was a bad book. I don't see the point in it. That's my whole thing with it. So I don't think I'll get the next issue, but it is what it is.
Who got the comment here? Also this one here, it says, how does it tie in? It doesn't. It really doesn't. That's the problem. That's what we were talking about. These are just stories that take place during the Age of Revelation. So it's like a completely side thing. So that's what a lot of these books are.
It's like only Amazing X-Men is really
ties in.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So let's talk about controversial Absolute Batman 2025 annual issue 1. So we got the Daniel Warren Johnson side. Then we got the other side, which I enjoyed the Daniel Warren Johnson side better. just because it was just a more emotional comic. It was a story of, obviously his early missions, how he got the Batmobile. The artwork was really good in this one, like crazy facial features and just gruesome and just, oh my God, just like the way he took out people was like really insane. I thought the particular issue was good, but I don't think it was great because of the second story. You got to have from beginning to end to make it a really like A+ issue for me, at least.
That and also not a ton happens, right? It is like
what's an annual?
It's an annual. It's a bit of a lost episode. I'll also say I think like Moments to Do a Powerbomb like is a level 10 at emotion, and this was probably like an 8. Like it was good. Like I liked stuff with his dad, but obviously you have to balance the action. I like this issue. Like I still enjoyed it because you do have that art and it's very nice art. But it didn't make my top 5 because of that. It's like, pick it up if you're a Daniel Warren Johnson fan. If you're not, I don't necessarily think you need this issue.
Yeah. Speaking of the backup story, real quick, is James Harren, which I'm not really familiar with his work, but I know there are a lot of people that like his work and stuff. I thought it was fine for what it was, but it didn't give me much, personally. I like what he was going for. Like the way I interpreted it was like, the way Batman looked was how these people were kind of envisioning Batman. He was very horrific. His, cape was tattered and shredded and, points everywhere. That's kind of the take I got from it. But the Daniel Warren Johnson story, I really liked. I like you, Kat, there wasn't a whole lot to grab onto. The ending where he's, thinking about his dad and thinking over those conversations he had and kind of reevaluating who he is as a person and as a hero. I thought that was really strong. And that's the kind of stuff we want, in a Daniel Warren Johnson story. But at the same time, I like the fact that we got Daniel Warren Johnson on Batman, any version of Batman. I think that's cool. I think that's something that maybe we get a taste of now and get more of in the future, somewhere down the line. Who knows? But yeah, it was good. It was solid. But yeah, it's an annual. It's a one-off story, so you can't expect too much from it, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be curious to see like if he gets a chance to write another Batman story again,
That's
and it's kind of like when you have these one-off stories, it's like, what do you do?
Right.
And so it's like it was the same thing when he wrote that like Wolverine story in Wolverine. It's it's like a one and done situation. So I felt like he did all he could possible.
So, and what is he doing next in general, right? Because it's so funny because I was watching, I think, a documentary where it was talking. I think I was watching the John Candy documentary, and one of the interviewers said like, you get an Oscar, and the first question someone asks is, "What's next?" Yeah. I feel like that's what's going on with like Daniel Warren Johnson, right? He just finished all these great projects, finished Transformers, and then like the question is like, well, what's next? Right? You're like, whoa, that's a lot of pressure. Couldn't you just enjoy the thing I did for a little while?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I still ask what's next, but that's because we live in this hamster wheel. And comics is much of a hamster wheel, and if you are in any creative field, it's a bit of a hamster wheel. I'm not saying it's fair, but it's like if you want to stay relevant, you got to keep churning out stuff. Like, I mean, look at Donny Cates. He's still relevant, but because he's taking that break, like he's got to come up with the best thing he's ever done. Now they did come back, which, obviously had other things happen to him. But like now that he's when he comes back, I think there's gonna be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it's that old "what have you done for me lately" kind of thing.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's just the way, life is pretty much in any industry, I would think. But yeah, especially in the creative fields, because you always got to kind of top yourself or at least match yourself. So it's hard. It's a lot of pressure, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, with that being said, let's go on to our number 5 then. So we'll start with you, Kat. What's your number 5?
Mine was the Emma Frost book we were talking about. I thought it was a really solid ending, and I think this book balances lost episodes really well with who is Emma Frost and how she kind of became a hero. I like the ending. It was kind of open-ended for more. The art's really good for this one. I just enjoyed the miniseries as a whole.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was really well done. Just like you said, what makes Emma so good is how strong, confident, cunning, like as a character as she is, and that was displayed perfectly in this series, you know. And so that's kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier in some of these other books. Like, you don't get to always see that in these other books these days on your favorite characters.
Yeah. What I like about Emma Frost so much is, like, for the longest time I didn't really care about her, and then
Same.
yeah, and then it's like you got Generation X where she was a teacher, and that's like, okay, you're seeing a different side of her. Then you get that series, that like 19 issue series she had, where it kind of told her backstory and where she came from and all that stuff, and then it gave her a little bit more, I don't know, something more than just like this, you know, uh, clever villain that bests the X-Men, um, and then from that point on, she became, they obviously developed her character more and more, and I just kind of fell in love with that strength and that cunning, and she's like this, I don't know, she's like this underrated character that's so powerful that she could match like Jean Grey and Professor X. She
But
could
she
be the
never
leader,
does.
right? But she could be the leader of the
Yeah.
whole, mutant nation. She's that good of a character, and she's intelligent and all this stuff. There's a lot to love about Emma Frost. But
Yeah,
I think I was just gonna say real quick, I think this 5 issue miniseries kind of exemplified all of those things that make
Yeah,
it a great book.
exactly.
that's what I was gonna say. I'm just happy a series like this could exist because
Yeah.
like also it shows that you can do solo heroes with X-Men characters. I know that it's been such a taboo because most of them aren't great, but sometimes you get something like this and you're like, oh wow, I'm really glad we got something like this because I learned a lot more about Emma. And again, it wasn't even related to anything. It wasn't even tied into anything. It just was a good story.
Yeah.
This just reminds me of like more like Black Cat. Like it's just a story that kind of just gives you a little bit more about the character, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it. So you just kind of get to see her inner thinking, or all that type of stuff. So
yeah.
What about you, Brian? What was your number 5?
All right, my number 5 was Radiant Black issue. Issue is it? Whatever issue it is, I don't remember.
Like 30 something probably by now. Let's see. It's 38.
38. Yeah. Okay. I just feel like since the end of the Catalyst War, this book has kind of gotten back to where it was at the beginning. I mean, you don't get Nathan, but you do get Marshall, and he's found a new love interest, and they're going through that thing. You also have the fallout from the Catalyst War, and this other what is it, Second Earthers, and all these different players in the field, and you're kind of building up. You're in a building phase up to the next threat, the next story right now. So it's more about focused on Marshall and his personal life and getting introduced to these other characters. So it was just kind of a building issue, but I just appreciate that it's not the Catalyst War, because that almost lost me. I know it lost Mike.
Yeah.
So it almost lost me, and I'm just thankful that it's getting back to where it was.
Yeah, the
not
interpersonal stuff.
Yeah.
Go on. No, you finish.
I was just gonna say it's not the best issue of the series or anything, but I feel like it's going somewhere now. So that's me personally.
I was gonna say I like to get a personal stuff. I enjoy those. I don't know if this was the strongest issue by any means. It was a little lower for me, honestly. But that's mostly because I just feel like the Radiant Black stuff needs to find its way. Like, I think the interpersonal stuff is really fun. It's like the Peter Parker element, but the Spider-Man stuff needs to be a little bit more interesting. So we'll see. Obviously, it's also hard to keep reinventing a series and being a superhero book that's not Spider-Man for 38 issues. And I don't know. We'll see where it goes. I like the art. I'll continue to read it. It is losing me a tad bit again. And it did lose me in Catalyst War. And then I think I dropped it for like 3 issues. And then obviously it restarted. And like, let me try it again. And then, I don't know. Well, I think you need something a little bit more exciting in the series.
I agree with you. And I'm hoping that that's where it's headed, because they got these new, they're supposed to be heroes, but obviously they're going to be kind of villainous. Because they whatever corporation is behind them is kind of pulling the strings and everything, and there's going to be a fight between them. So I'm hoping it gets more interesting in that aspect of it going forward, but we'll see.
Cool. All right. And what about you, Kat?
I think it's your number 5. Mine was Emma.
Oh, Emma, and then Brant's was
Radiant.
Mine is Batman.
Okay.
The absolute Batman.
Yes. Yep.
Mine, I think I landed for number 6 for me. I think it like just missed it. Yeah, it was my number 6.
I had a couple of tough decisions between 6 and 5, but ultimately I did do Batman because I really did like the first story, but I couldn't put it any higher than that because to me it wasn't a complete, story.
Yeah.
I would have loved to see Daniel Warren Johnson do the whole 64 pages.
And I think it's hard when you have so much hype, right? Like it's
Yeah.
like you're expecting so much, and when you get like a font, like it was a good story, but you're expecting like a lot with that much hype. So I think that's hard too.
Agreed. It didn't make my top 5. Neither did Emma, sadly, but they're both just outside.
All right, so let's go on to, I didn't read this, Superman Red and Blue, the 2025 special.
I have a feeling me and Brant read it for the same exact reason. Rainbow wrote one of the stories, and I loved her story, and I actually was pleasantly surprised by this anthology. All the stories were pretty heartwarming. The art was pretty solid. I liked it. I think it did what it needed to do. I think in another week I probably wouldn't even picked it up. Yeah. I'm glad I did. It kind of had like a little nice space in my pull list this week.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Rainbow, because I wanted to see what she could do with Superman, I probably wouldn't have picked this up. And it's definitely, if it was another week, I wouldn't have, because it's an anthology. Sure. It's one of those celebratory things. But there was a lot of heart in every one of these stories, and it was all about kind of Superman and Lois, and just those moments that we talked about that we like in the main Superman book. It was that kind of thing, but it was also celebratory. It did what it's, like you said it best, Kat. It did what it needed to do, and I thought that all the stories were pretty good. So
yeah, if you were trying to fill your pull list this week, like I think most people were, if I'm being honest, this actually was a good addition to it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to Cloak or Dagger. This is issue 1. Brant and I did read this one. So the funny thing is like, I really didn't care about the main portion of the story, like the Van Struckers. Like I didn't care about them at all. And this bus that was going back to base that they blew up and whatever it was, I just wanted to see Tandy and Tyrone. And I just wanted to see like their dynamic on how they exist without each other being in the same place at the same time. And you don't really get that revealed. You just know that something bad can possibly happen, right? When they're in the same playing field. And at the end of the first issue, this is a spoiler, but you find out that they do have a kid, and the kid looks like that they're living in this other world or place or wherever they go at the same time.
Yeah, like I'm assuming it's like Cloak's shadow dimension or something, or some little pocket dimension, or wherever it is. I don't know. But yeah, that was the big reveal, that they have this kid that they're keeping in that other place. And it's like, well, that's crazy. Like, how does that work? And how is the child coping with, being completely alone except for one parent at a time? I would love to see just that part of the story and more of it. I agree with you. Like the stuff that connects to the Age of Revelation stuff, which is basically what they're trying to protect the people in this place from getting infected with the virus or whatever. And the Von Struckers are purposely infecting the people so they can manipulate them and use them for their own purposes. So it's whatever, that part of it. But I agree with you. The interesting part was the Cloak and Dagger stuff. And we just didn't get a whole lot of it. Just like teases like, oh, something really bad happens if we're together. So yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I'll definitely read the next issue.
I'll do the second issue just for that reason. That part of it just sounds interesting to me.
Right.
So. All right. So let's see. Let's go on to our number 4. Kat, what you got for 4?
Mine was that Superman book we talked about.
Okay. What about you, Brad?
Mine is Supernatural, issue 1.
Different super.
Yeah. So this, I was wrong about the seasons. It takes place between seasons 1 and 2. So
okay. You said 3 and 4, I think.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So they're still on the hunt for the demon that killed their mom when Sam was little and that kind of thing. So it kind of ties into that. But it felt just like an episode of the show where they find something out. They think it's related to the case they're working on, so they go to this place and they fight the supernatural threat, and then they move on to the next town in the next issue. So if you're a big fan of the show, I think this was like a perfect accompaniment because it felt like an episode. I thought for the most part the characters were in character. There were a couple of things that they said. I know these characters so well. It's like they wouldn't say that. They wouldn't say it, or they wouldn't use those words or whatever, that kind of thing. But they were like little nitpicky things. The art was pretty decent. The likenesses were okay. They weren't, great or anything, but they were okay. But yeah, if you're a Supernatural fan, I think you'd really enjoy this. If you're not, you wouldn't pick this up anyway. So, but I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
I think Greg Pak wrote it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you also have a, pretty prolific writer writing it.
Absolutely.
That's cool. Glad you liked it. My number 4 was Voyeur. That's that Stephanie Phillips.
Right.
Not Stephanie Phillips.
Williams.
What's her name?
Stephanie
Leah
Williams.
Williams.
Yeah.
Leah Williams.
Oh, Leah Williams. You're right. Stephanie
Yeah.
Williams is not writing that.
Yeah.
Stephanie Williams is writing another book for that company.
You're right.
There are
Okay.
2 different Williams.
Right. This book is good. Like, I really enjoy it. Like, the first issue, you got introduced to the main character who was in charge of the security camera at the place that he was working at, and we find out that he is there to steal all the art in the place. The female finds out that she is being watched by him, but she's much more than meets the eye herself. But we quite don't know what type of character that she is. But she finds out she's on to him, makes him an ultimatum, and says, we're going to work together, or I'm going to rat you out. So he's like, okay. Plus he has this thing for her as well, because she's this gorgeous woman that he's been watching at the same time. And so in this issue, you see the point of view from the female character from the moment she got off of the plane to go to the resort to see what her character is at, to the point where she sees the camera where he was watching her out of. So it's kind of like first issue was him, second issue was her, and you get to see the point of where they meet up with each other and how their relationship or working relationship is going to be going forward. I thought it was really, really good. I think this is a beautifully drawn book, and I think the writing here is really well done. So I don't think you guys are reading this one, or are you, Kat?
No, I'm not reading this one. I'm only reading, I want to say, no, I'm reading Deluge too. I'm reading Deluge and Murder Podcast.
Deluge. Go ahead.
I think you would like this one, Kat. I think you would.
Then.
I mean,
it sounds interesting.
It's got some sexual stuff in it, but it's just like, it's almost like a, I don't know, like a Basic Instinct or 50 Shades of Grey, someone would say, in a way. Like, the woman is very seductive towards the man because she knows he likes her, and I think she might be using that to her advantage.
Like Basic
and you don't know what her intentions truly are. You know what I'm saying?
I like characters like that. I enjoy when you have to put the pieces together.
Right. So it's a good story. I like it. It's a quick read too.
I was just gonna say Deluge, however you say that word. It's the only one that I've tried so far. I want to try Murder Podcast.
I like this better than Murder Podcast.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. It's cool that they have such a variety. I do like that.
Yeah.
You could probably pick up one of their series and enjoy it.
Yeah. I did see a comment going back to the Age of Revelations thing. Somebody asked this, and I just wanted to address it. What is Age of Revelations in terms of initiatives? Is it kind of like Future State, but a little bit longer? Future State is actually a really good comparison, I think, to what this is.
Because Future Story.
Nothing happened in Future State either.
Right. And no ramifications from that either. So yeah, it's very similar in that way. I don't know if it's longer than Future State, though. It's probably about the same length, I would say. Anyway.
All right. So let's see. We were done with our number 4s, right? Yep. So let's go to Expatriate.
Expatriate.
I'm gonna get some water.
All right.
And I think we talked about it a little bit, but it was fine. It honestly, I like the characters more in the Exceptional X-Men more in this. It's just like there wasn't enough time to live with them, and then Miss Marvel being there, whatever, it's just it was just forgettable.
Yeah, that's the thing. They didn't have, like you said, enough time to really do anything, so you couldn't. it was interesting to see that, okay, in 10 years they're, full-fledged kind of
Mm.
X-Men characters. So that's, it's cool, but it's
Which
like,
you figure, right?
yeah, I don't really remember much of what happened in the issue, and
Mm.
that's the problem.
I don't know
Yeah,
how to
so
end. I don't remember. What's her face? The one who's like kind of the leader. I don't remember her name from it. She's like talking to Mystique or something like that, and like Mystique is part of it all. Like
yeah,
that's kind of what I got from the ending of the issue.
yeah, I really don't remember, honestly.
No, it
Sounds
was
like a
very
great one.
forgettable. No, it was
Yeah,
very, very forgettable. This is coming from someone who likes
I
Eve's writing and enjoyed Exceptional X-Men. I just couldn't get behind this one.
and I'll say there was one other. It's not on our list, so I'll just mention it.
Mhm.
X-Vengers was the other one that came out.
Yeah, and you
Uh,
read that one.
I
Oh,
did
I
read
actually
it.
read that digitally.
I wish I hadn't, but I did read it. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was the worst one to me of the whole
They
round.
tried to fit in so much in that comic book. Like it was ridiculous. It's like the Avengers changed and they mutated and Captain America died and Danny Moonstar became like Captain America out of nowhere, just out of convenience. It
Just
like
because
even
she was
said
there, yeah.
she's there, and then it's like, and then it's just like, hey, Hawkeye has 6 arms, and it's like, oh, we got to defeat the Kree, and then it's like they just throwed so much at you, and it was like, just stop it,
Yeah,
oh
exactly.
my god.
There was no like heart to it. The only like emotional thing was Danny being there when Cap died and taking his shield, and she was like questioning, am I the leader because I was there or because he believed in me? I don't know. Nobody else does either. Let's go fight some people. That was basically it.
I'm glad I
Right?
skipped that one.
Yeah.
And then Ant-Man, he like becomes like, they call him, what was his name? Variable Man?
Yeah, variable man, because he just kept
Because he
changing.
like
Yeah.
he can now, instead of getting big or small, like he's just like big like the Hulk.
Yeah.
So he's like, that's the difference for him. And then he gets taken over by like the virus at the end, or he starts
Yeah.
dying, and it's like, oh, Cassie, tell Cassie I love her, and this and
Yeah. That was the other thing. They showed us this big wall of remembrance of everybody that's died. So you just get to see, oh, that character I like's not going to be in this. That character I like's in this character. I don't know who the heck they are. All this stuff. Yeah.
it was bad, man. It was really, really bad. Oh, I don't know why I read it. I just had nothing else to do, and I was like, oh.
I was like, why not?
And I'm like, oh god, thank God I didn't I didn't pay for that one. So
Yeah. I decided to try them all, at least for an issue,
Yeah.
which is stupid, but
I mean, you got to try it. I'll say I did not try all of them, but I
Yeah.
tried more than I should have.
Yeah.
all right, so let's go on to Feral, issue 17. We all read that book, and it's literally just like a issue of Walking Dead.
It was like straight out of The Walking
Yeah,
Dead. All that build up ended here,
Absolutely. I mean, holy crap. You just want to talk about the doors opening and basically hell comes into that pet store, and we wind up getting to see the cats fighting for their territory. That's basically what it is. And it was pretty interesting, but the end of that book was kind of like,
I did not see that coming. Yeah.
Damn. I'm like, really? I'm like, so they're gonna, you think this is going to happen, so supposedly they're gonna stay in Pet City,
take over,
and Lucky is the one that is declaring himself the leader,
and he's got a dog,
and he's got the dog, and he says nothing is going to change. So does that mean the same thing? Like, you're gonna eat the young? You're gonna eat your own people? Like,
I feel bad for those kittens. I don't know what's gonna happen to them.
Like, first their mom is just like on a suicide mission. Yeah, let's just stay and find the cubbies. Like, no.
And he does. He has the dog on his side, so it's like he's got the power play there.
Yeah,
it was an interesting issue, and it does remind me a lot of The Walking Dead, where it takes a little while to get there. Like the last couple of issues, I don't think it made any of our top 5s, but it was all worth it to get to this moment. We're like, oh man, that was exciting, and Tony Flicks is just one of the best writers out there right now. He's just like every book, like even with the Quentin Quire book, like that was a well-written book for people who like Quentin Quire. Like he's still hitting on all cylinders.
Right. that's the other one I'll continue. I forgot all
Mm.
about that book. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's Tony Fleecs. Yeah, there's a handful of writers right now that are just like killing it. And he's definitely one of them, and I would
Mhm.
read anything that he put out. So, yeah,
The
just
Thing
such
proved
good.
that to me.
That's
Right,
just kind of like how
exactly.
you got to do it, right? These days, it's like
Yeah,
almost before you would read a lot of your comics always because of the character, right? And now it's more about the writer more than anything else these days. It's like, oh, if Robert Kirkman is writing is writing a Strawberry Shortcake book, hey, maybe I might want to read that book. I might
yeah,
want to check that book out because it may not be my favorite character, but he's writing it. So
Well,
yeah,
yeah, and that's what's selling these indie books right now. The reason why indies are doing so well, you do have like the monster, the Mark Spears monster stuff, but then you mostly do have Jeff Johns as a company and he's running a company, right? Or you have Robert Kirkman and he's running a company. So like it's just names, which is that you want to follow the creators that are doing great and. Hopefully,
yeah,
along the way, new creators like Tony Fleecs, who's a newer creator who had Stray Dogs, building his resume to do even more stuff. So
yeah.
but yeah, Feral is great, and I'm glad it's an ongoing because I know Stray Dogs was like 12 issues or whatever it was. It's
well, it
cool to
wasn't
see
even
him.
that.
It wasn't
It
even that.
was
I think
even
it was like
smaller.
6.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, so
Yeah.
yeah, it's even shorter. So it's cool to see him on such a long running series. And honestly, the opposite of Radiant Black. Like Radiant Black, I felt like really lost steam along the way, and there are some arcs that are better than others. But like this
sure.
is issue 17, and I don't really feel like this book has lost that much
Oh
steam.
yeah, I feel like
Yeah,
it's getting
Yeah.
started. I mean,
yeah,
I would have loved to see. I was sad when Stray Dogs ended. I'm like,
yeah,
oh man, it's over. I'm like, God dang. And then when I heard like he was coming out with this, I'm like, well, I'm not a real cat guy,
right.
But
Yeah,
I was
same.
just
Yeah,
like, but I'm like, he did Stray Dogs really good, so I'm gonna give it a try, and it
yeah,
definitely has not disappointed at all.
Well,
absolutely.
especially because
Yeah,
it's a zombie story. Like Stray Dogs was a murder mystery. So
hmm,
yeah, it makes sense to last
Yeah,
6 issues. But because it's a
yeah.
zombie story, you could do this for
you
as
could go
long
Oh
as you
yeah,
forever.
want.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Walking Dead proved that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah. You mentioned Radiant Black. I don't want to go back to that too
Mm,
much, but I think their biggest mistake was doing that event way too soon.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And doing the 2 issues at once like really
Oh, that
lost me.
was
The A and
yeah,
B, that was
Yeah,
too
that was
much.
exactly.
yeah,
And most stores didn't have both. That
yeah,
made it even worse. Like I remember there was times where I was like, well, now I gotta like read it digitally.
yeah. It's like it was cool in concept, but it did not need to be every single issue of that whole event.
It was
That was
delayed. It just
yeah,
ruined the momentum for that one.
right. Unfortunately, yeah.
All right. So now, with that being said, let's go on to our number 3. So, what do you got, Brant? This time, I'll start with you.
My number 3 is the Rockefellers, issue 10, I think it is.
That was a pretty
Um,
good issue.
it was a good issue. Yeah, it's this one is takes place on Halloween,
Yep.
appropriately, which I think was fun. And like the kids are wanting to go out trick or treating, but at the same time they're trying to get out of there because they know that his sister is on their trail or whatever, and she catches up with them, and then it's just like you get all this backstory. I don't remember if the backstory was in this issue or last issue because I read them
Last
back to back.
issue.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the
on
all the
how her
yeah,
how she got in the accident and he
right.
fixed her up and everything.
Yeah, and I think that made this issue even better for me reading them back to back because I got all that backstory and then immediately got her
Yeah.
on their tails, and they're trying to get away and she's chasing them and the dad like sees her. There's that emotional connection. She's like, "Don't make me do it, Dad," and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, and just yeah, it was emotional punches. It started off like really mild with the let us go trick or treat. No, we got some time to kill, and talking about the candy and how good it tastes and all this stuff, and
I
then
like
you
how
jump to
she
that.
first
Yeah.
like came onto the scene and the kids
Yeah.
thought she
It was
had
a
a cool
costume.
Halloween costume and
Yeah.
everything. And it's kind of funny because under like her pursuit of the family, she just like takes all the other people and is kind of chill with them. She's
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, what are you doing?" And she gives them like one word answers, but leaves them be.
Yeah, like, they're like, "Your mask looks really scary," and she was like, "That's what I was going for," and
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
right.
And they're
So
like I think one character said, like, "I wanna go where you're going," and she's like, it's not going to be as
No.
fun as it looks. Yeah, or something like that. It was like, okay, yeah.
You want to talk about a comic that has good family dynamic.
Yeah.
This book is built upon that. You know what I'm saying? These guys go on adventures with each other. They're time travelers, whatever. They're running from the sister. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into this comic. Took a lot of time to get to the point where it's at right now, but we'll see where it goes, because now they're on the run again, and it looks like they're like, I don't know where they are. They're like in some like weird, I don't know, place that it's like a park or desert or
desert or
something.
something.
Yeah.
Grand Canyon, maybe something like that.
Who
Death
knows?
Valley. Who knows? Yeah, it's just it's when the reason I wanted to try this book in the first place is because it looked like Fantastic Four, right? It kind of had that vibes and everything.
Yeah.
And I think slowly but surely they've gotten deeper into that family aspect of it. So yeah, now that the actual plot is picked up and we got the sister there, I'm really curious to see what happens next.
Yeah, absolutely. So good book there.
Yeah.
So Kat, what's your number 3?
Mine is Feral, so we talked about it.
Right. And my number 3 is Batman and Robin, Year 1, issue 12. So that book was actually good. It was the last one, yeah, and it was really cool to see these guys actually get the issue resolved with these gangsters that they were fighting throughout this little run here, and defeat Clayface and Harvey Dent at the end as well. That Sam Neill artwork, it just continues to, like, I love it in this book. It just really makes the book for me. And then at the end, you wind up getting to see Bruce reunite with Dick as he gains custody of him again. So they live together, and they kind of just have the last couple of pages with like the bat symbol and then them swinging around and, Tim being overconfident the way that he is. And it was cool, man. I really enjoyed it. And overall, it was a great wrap up to this series.
Cool. Nice.
All right.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Thank you.
I have not been reading that book, so
I haven't read that one either.
It's a really good series. I think if it wasn't with Sam Neill's art, I don't think I would have continued to read it. But since he put that, again, Kat, you know how you talk about Supergirl with kind of like that, has that Silver Age vibe. That's what this book has as well. It's in that same vein.
I read the first issue, I want to say, but I remember that. I remember that style. It's just like Mark Waid's writing so much. Sometimes you're like, all right.
Yeah, he does write a lot.
Yeah. I was like, do I need a year 1 story right now with everything else I was reading? That was my sole purpose of it.
All right, so let's move on. We all read Black Cat this week, so let's talk about that one. So issue 3.
I thought this issue, it's still finding its sea legs. Like, it's good. I enjoy Black Cat as a character. And I obviously liked her interacting with Miss Marvel because Jewel Wilson. But, that she hangs out with Sandman. Like, it all happens very quickly. And I'm enjoying to see her be a hero. But this issue is not like, whoa, this is the crazy issue. It's just like, it's building up to something. I'm sure it is building up to something. But this issue's not that yet.
I liked it. I thought it did a good job at kind of seeing a little bit of the glimpse of the everyday life of Felicia, which I thought was kind of cool. Like, she wakes up at 10:30 in the morning. She gets a call from her friend or her the guy that helps her, and she's like, man, it's 10:30 in the morning and stuff like that. And then she gets to see things on the internet, of course, tabloids from J. Jonah Jameson. So she's talking with him, which I thought was hilarious.
She was affected by that a lot. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. And then the Sandman situation is obviously he works for Tombstone. So it's his job to capture her, to bring her to Tombstone. But then you get the other little side plot in there with the whole trucking thing as they went to get, what was it like things from another planet or whatever it was. It was some kind of thing that they were like, trafficking or whatever it was. It was like that giraffe that was driving the big rig.
Yeah, I remember.
That's
I
how
don't
they
remember what
got
they
to the
were
Miss
trafficking.
Marvel thing.
And that's how I got to
Right.
the Miss Marvel thing. So
It's
that
just
was the
it
little
was a lot
side
of
plot.
characters. It was like, yeah, that Miss, you know, obviously, yeah, Sandman going to Tombstone is gonna be a bigger story, but it's still a lot of moving pieces in this issue.
Yeah, there was. I thought it was fun though. The giraffe character was hilarious. I didn't know the fact that they didn't like make noises or anything too. So I
Yeah,
thought
that was the
funny.
big thing about it. They're like, how come
Yeah.
he doesn't say anything? It's because he's a giraffe, and
Yeah.
giraffe don't make noise, you
And
know?
why is his name Mule if he's a giraffe?
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff. It was fun. I agree there was a lot of characters, a lot going on, and I do want it to get into an actual, plot instead of just, fighting the villain of the day or of the week or month, whatever.
And I'm sure it will, knowing
Yeah,
your style
absolutely.
of storytelling.
Especially once you get to the Tombstone thing, I
Mm.
think that's where the story starts to build from there. So,
Yeah, that's where it's leading to. I mean, that's the whole
Yeah.
thing of it all is he's the one that's kind of like, is she friend with us? Is she foe with us? And now they realize that she's going to be a hero, and
yeah,
they're like, all right, well, let's capture her. So let's
Yeah.
see what happens next.
yeah. But this book has been fun since it started. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So we did talk about Radiant Black. So let's go on to our number 2. Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Spider-Gwen. I really liked this issue. I felt like it tied into her origins and things we've seen with the character really well, where we find out the murderer is her, pretty much her. It's the Venom. It's the Venom reflection of her. And then globbing onto her boyfriend, I thought was really interesting. And just like the character beats that Stephanie Phillips is able to gravitate to, I think, is really what makes this series so great. You really feel for Gwen, and again, it ties into stuff that's been played with before, but wasn't able to be finished. And I just like her voice a lot for this character.
Yeah, like I said before, she's one of my current favorite writers as well. Like Tony Fleek, and anything that she writes now, I will probably try. But yeah, I think she's done a really good job with Spider-Gwen, and this issue in particular. Even though it was predictable that it was going to be the symbiote, I mean that coming a mile away. But
I think that what the story represents is better than
right,
of it.
exactly, and that's exactly. It obviously it represents everything she went through, and it kind of reminded you of everything she went through back in the other universe, and since she came here and everything, and it kind of brings you full circle back to where she was. Now we've got her dad here. We've got this battle with the symbiote. She's got her original powers back. And so this feels like a fresh new beginning for her. At the same time, it's still full of drama and all the stuff she's dealt with since the beginning. So, and I think Stephanie Phillips did a really good job of kind of containing all that within this issue and kind of touching on all of it in different, ways without it feeling like you're getting like this exposition dump. It was all through the narrative, all through the action, all through the conflict and everything. And it was just really well done. So.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like this issue too. I liked, the explanation of like, obviously the symbiote, what it is, how it attaches to you when you're maybe at your weakest moments and whatnot, and how it attached to, his name. Fabian? Is it Fabian?
Fabian, I think.
Yeah, Black Tarantula.
Yes, Black Tarantula.
Yeah.
So, and so obviously he's obviously hurting, and then he wound up getting possessed by the symbiote. Meanwhile, you also had this situation going on with the father too, that's in prison.
Yeah.
And so that's a big deal. So I think that's gonna be in play for something in the future as well.
Sure.
Because what's going to happen? Like, he's obviously probably going to get out of jail. He's going to see his son is probably this symbiote, and he's going to obviously hold this against Spider-Gwen, and somehow he's going to probably be an enemy of hers, and she's going to have to deal with that conflict as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mike, because I know
this one was my favorite one out of all the issues. So this made me like, it sold me on the series as a whole. So it was cool. Even though, like you said, it was very predictable. We all know what the symbiote was. Like, we all read the previous volume, and so we knew what that was.
But even knowing that, I still think it was,
there had to be something much more in play for the story,
Yeah, and it didn't matter that you knew that.
No, because it wasn't holding on to it. It wasn't really that much of a mystery.
It wasn't
right.
It wasn't relying on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, its plan was in place was to have her boyfriend be possessed by this thing, and now it's like, how does she deal with that? Also, so there's a lot of adversity going against her right now.
And what's great about the boyfriend, and I know you didn't read the previous volume, Mike, he's been built up. Like, it's not this random guy like the ones we've been talking about with Spider-Man. It's just like, he is a character, and he's like been a character. And obviously, we're going to get Silk. We're going to get these other characters as well that Gwen has relationships with, which, again, relationships, that's what makes these books good. So I'm happy we're finally getting a very solid Spider-Gwen series because it's been needed. So,
Awesome. Okay, so let's I think we're at number 2 now. So I'll go with you, Kat. What do you got?
That was my number 2. So we're
okay.
Okay.
What you got, Brent?
Runaways, issue number 5, last one of this.
Oh God, that's Kat's number 1 for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's no maybe there.
Yeah. Last one for who knows how long. Yeah, no,
but
really...
the ending does, if you read the letters, she pretty much is like, yeah, we're gonna do more. We just got to figure out how.
Yeah, exactly. I did read that, so I just don't know when or how it's gonna come about, but I'm looking forward to it because now it feels like you've gotten them all back together. You had Alex in this issue, in this whole miniseries, really, but really in this issue, they all kind of came together, and at the end, you have Chase and Alex saying we got to talk. And so it seems like we're getting, that core group back together, which I think was really interesting. But you also had the Doombot have this kind of a revelation of what he really feels, how he kind of came to the conclusion that I'm not Doom. And it's been this whole thing since Rainbow jumped on Runaways, since the long running series and this mini and everything. That Doombot is like, I am Doom. I am and it's been this whole thing. And with the fallout of One World Under Doom, he kind of realizes what kind of person Doom really is, and that he's nothing like that, and that he cares for these children. So you had that whole little personal journey of that. In the meantime, you had all the Runaways fighting all the Doombots and kind of getting back into that groove. So you had, I don't know, it was just kind of a nice moment to get them all back together, and now to see where they can go from here. I think that's really interesting. So I really hope that was a tease that, hey, we're going to, come back stronger than ever kind of thing. So
I think it's the only tie-in that's made sense in Doom, because it actually did tie in with Doom's event, which was great. And then, I agree. There's just such little character moments that another series would take 20 issues to do that just happens in this one issue. You get Gert and Nico having this magic together. Again, like you said, very subtly, Alex joins the team again. It's just such a great series. And when I talk about character work, I love Runaways because it can do anything it wants. It's not Spider-Man. Literally, it progresses so much because they're not relying on their status quo. There is no status quo for the Runaways. And that's what I love about this series. It's just, it feels like an indie book, honestly.
Yeah. That, you're right, though. It's like they don't have to be, put aside for this, event or whatever. Even though this book tied into an event, you could still do whatever you wanted with them. So it's really interesting. But yeah, the Gert and Nico thing, Carolina getting excited that Nico's got magic again, how it works. They don't know. They, making it up as they go, just fun stuff. And Molly realizing how, her strength and her, place in the group and all that stuff happened in this issue. It's just it was so much, but yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, and full circle, what we were talking about with the X-Men stuff, where you need a creator that loves characters, that they will keep writing them. Rainbow's been writing Runaways since 2018. Yeah. It's been almost 10 years that this person's been writing Runaways, and she's consistently been writing Runaways. There's been a year or two where it hasn't been around, but she's been writing Runaways since then, and it's been showing that she's been able to write these characters for so long.
Yeah, that's one thing I wrote down for our conversation about X-Men, was that we needed creators on the book that were passionate about those characters. That's always
absolutely
key. Yeah.
And she's so passionate. And she was so passionate about She-Hulk too. That's why we had a fun time with it. She loved that character. I think she loves Runaways ultimately, but like you could tell how much she loves it. And that's like what I love reading. And also they always have a really good artist attached. It's never bad art for that book. Yeah. It's the artist who did that Black Widow book with Kelly Thompson, just for context.
Yeah.
So it was really good. I agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I guess it's my turn, right?
Yes, number 2.
My number 2 is Robo-Wolf issue 2. Oh my god!
Oh, you're talking about that last
Oh god, that book was hilarious. My gosh, it's so great. It's like Robo-Wolf goes against his arch nemesis. I forgot the dude's name, but he has like chainsaws at the end of his hands and everything else. It's a complete like 80s violence comic book that's over the top, but it's got a lot of humor to it. And if you lived in that time frame, Kat, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. It's just so much fun. Like the dude is like killing somebody, and while his head's being split open, he's still talking. He's like, "Oh, my head is being chainsawed in half." It's just like, it's just crazy. I laughed. And I love when a comic book like that can like go so over the top that it makes you laugh and it draws that emotion out of you. You know what I'm saying? Not really.
It feels pretty under the radar too.
It is. It's not really like this in-depth plot. It's like Robo-Wolf trying to save his little daughter. That's pretty much about it. And then he went into this origin story of him and his arch nemesis. So it was good. I had a really, really fun time with it.
I've definitely seen his art before at like conventions. I was looking it up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, and I've seen this before." And it's a unique style.
Exactly. Yeah.
Who publishes that?
Oh, this is Dark Horse.
Oh, Dark Horse. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And it's a mini series. I think it's like 4 issues. I think it is. So definitely, if you're looking for a fun time, if you like turtles, like that's kind of where it's at. But it's it's not serious. Like it's funny stuff.
Gotcha.
All right, so that just takes us to our number 1. So, Kat, your number 1's Runaways.
Of course. Right. We don't know when we're going to get the next one, but I did like that it wasn't all despair in the end. We're like, we'll probably get more.
Mine was Feral, so that was mine.
Fair. Mine is also Feral.
There we go. And that wraps up the top 5. So I'm passing the torch over to Brent as we're going to talk about our most anticipated.
A bigger week, I think, tomorrow than obviously the 5th Wednesday.
Yeah, quite a few big books as well. So we got
a lot of DC books, like a lot of big DC books tomorrow. You have Batman. You have a lot of issue 1s from there. So
well, I mean, we only had 2 this past week, right?
They had no books last week,
right?
So.
Yeah, no, they literally had. Yeah, all 3. They had all the ones we talked about.
Oh, yeah, Superman. Yeah.
There was so little that I had to put 2 Marvel books at the end of our little list that we usually do because there's only 4 DC books that were out.
Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. Fifth weeks be like that, right? All right, so let's talk about these most anticipated books. We've got a few repeats here. So we're all excited about some cool stuff here. We'll start with, I'll save that one. Let's go Absolute Green Lantern, because I think I saw something in one of your videos, Mike, that this was kind of the lowest of your Absolute books for you. But
yeah. I'm surprised that I thought Absolute Flash would be lower for you.
It's last issue we had the issue where we had the different artists and it was focusing on the lore, and I just feel like there was not a lot that, in my opinion, has been happening, and it's becoming to the point in very many ways where it's getting Al Ewing-ness. That's how he can be. Like, he can go way over the top for people at times, you know, and I don't want it to get to that point. I want it to get to the point where let's focus a little bit less on like the lore and everything around it, and let's get back to the characters. And what I'm excited about this issue is that is that this one focuses on Joe Mullen. So
Yeah.
that's what I am hoping, that I can get attached to the character, giving me more of them so we can move the plot forward a little bit here.
Yeah.
It's funny because Absolute Green Lantern is one of my favorite Absolute titles.
Right.
I like the anime style. I like the character work. I agree last issue wasn't great, but I felt like that was one of the only ones that was kind of out of timeline. For the rest of it, I feel like we've been learning a lot about the mythology. I'll say Hal hasn't moved as much, and maybe that's something that could be a little bit like, oh, I want to see more from Hal. But this issue in particular that's coming up, I'm excited because, like you said, it's a very Joe-driven issue, who is the main character of the series, and it's her going up against her ex-wife. And I'm like, oh, that's gonna be like a lot of
and
drama.
that sounds
So I'm excited for
interesting to
that.
me.
Yeah.
Like, how you said, we're talking about the mythology. That's what I mean. Like, it's been too much about the mythology.
No.
Like, there's not enough of the human side element of the story. And when
I could see that.
you know how Al Ewing can get when it comes to the mythological side of things. Like, again, look at, say, Thor, or look at Immortal Hulk, or look at how he writes his books. Like, it can get over your head real quick, real fast,
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I don't believe this will be this issue, but we'll see. Hopefully they focus on the thing they promote, because sometimes solicits will be like, this is what it's about. And then obviously, writing changes, and it's not that.
Right. I hope it is about Joe, because I think I agree with both of you. I think that's the interesting story to tell. But this is one of my favorite Absolute books as well. I saw that comment you just popped up. The only one that I dropped like totally was Absolute Martian Manhunter, and that's just
The only one.
not my vibe.
Yeah. Martian Manhunter I kept. I dropped Wonder Woman just because I can never get into Greek mythology. And
Wonder Woman, I think it's going to pick up, though. Like I told
you, Zatanna,
Zatanna is going to be in there. Yeah,
I
want to see her get a spin-off, because then I can just read that.
Yeah, I'm behind on Absolute Wonder Woman, but I still, something about it, I just don't want to, like, I still care about it for some reason. I don't know why. The art really bothers me in Absolute Wonder Woman. I'm just not a fan. But
it's not my style either.
Yeah, so we'll see if it picks up, though. All right, so that was Cat's number 2. Let's jump to we'll go Mike's number 3, which is Batman. Somebody mentioned it in the comments earlier.
That was so close for me. I was like,
me too.
I just wanted to be a little different. Or else I probably Batman would have been on
Batman is too good, almost not to mention. It's just so well done. I really enjoyed it. I love the last issue, how like they got into this fight with these police, and these police are not great. They're not, obviously, they work for Vandal Savage, and you can see that we're very desperate and injured. Like, Batman was injured and all kinds of stuff, and there was a lot going on in that issue. So I'm just looking forward to seeing now, like, how do they escape that? What goes forward here. I'm kind of remembering like what the description of this issue said, but
let me look. It's so serialized.
There.
It's always so serialized, this book. But yeah, issue 1 and 2 blew my mind. So I can't imagine. Okay, so this one's Vandal Savage makes his move against Batman and Robin. Yeah. Bruce Wayne tries to make amends with the Riddler, makes his play for arguably the most important item in all of Gotham. So it seems like there's a lot of players of this.
That's what it is. It's Riddler making his appearance in the book. So we haven't seen the Riddler in a while.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how Fraction handles the Riddler. I think that's definitely the type of character I'm more curious about under his kind of purview. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that as well. Like I said, I enjoyed issue 2 more than issue 1. It was like issue 1 I thought was good. It was a really good book, but it didn't blow me away. But issue 2 like really pulled me in. It was like, okay, now I see where we're going.
Yeah,
so I'm excited. Yeah. All right, so I'll jump to my number 2, which is G.I. Joe issue 13, which is the first issue of the Dreadnought War. So I am super excited about this. We haven't seen a whole lot about the Dreadnought since the Cobra Commander miniseries.
Right.
Yeah. So, and from, if the covers to be believed, it almost looks like G.I. Joe and Cobra have to team up to take on the Dreadnoughts, which I think is really interesting. And I'm curious to see where all the players land at the end of this, because, historically the Dreadnoughts work with Cobra, right? So
Mhm.
I don't know where this is going, but I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Well, in the description too, it says
Yeah.
that Cobra Commander is betrayed by one of his closest allies.
Mm,
So, like, I'm wondering, like, is it Destro? Like, I don't know. And
yeah.
then it says that Duke is there to help save him. So it's a lot of, questions there,
Right. Yeah, and
And
I
then
love that. Yeah, because
right,
this.
and
Yeah, go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, and then we got the whole possibly, you pointed that out, the whole mask situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it could be nothing, but it could be something, and I'm really excited to see what they do, especially because we got Mask introduced already, so obviously it's going to play in somehow.
Right.
Um, what I was going to say was because this is a brand new take on GI Joe and everything, nothing has to stay, nothing has to be the way it was, so they can do. They have the ability to go outside of what we know, and you're introducing this to a whole new generation of readers and everything too. So, just like with Baroness being on the Joe team instead of Cobra, I'm really excited to see where things land at the end of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, all right, so we'll go to Cat's number one, which is Harley and Ivy and Life and Crimes. I'm excited for this one too. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
I just like we've been kind of waiting for this story forever. Like, how did they get together, and
right.
what got Harley to really hate the Joker? And I think this is the lost episode that we kind of needed, and the show did a really good job at that relationship. So I'm curious to see how this comic can do it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's the origin story of how they got together. That's like you said, they just kind of one day were together, and it's like you don't know
Right.
much about their history in that regard. So I'm curious to see what that what that history unveils. I guess. All right. All right, so we only got 2 books left to talk about because one of them we all 3 have, so we'll talk about the other one first, which is, mine and Mike's number 1, which is Rook Exodus, issue number 8, no brainer there. It's probably it's definitely one of my favorite books on, right now, but it could be one my actually favorite book,
Yeah, I mean,
put out right
artistically
now.
wise, it's the best out there in my
Yeah,
opinion. And in this issue, you're going to get Rook, and you're going to get Dire Wolf looking for Dire Wolf's
bad. Yeah,
father, which is named Bloodhound, and then they're going to come against the Arachnid
yeah,
Warden, and they're going through these tunnels, and they're going to come across mutated spiders. Like, oh
yeah.
my god, I can only imagine what
Oh,
that
the
book is
art's
going
gonna
to
be
look at.
insane for that,
Oh,
yeah. And then we get more of the stag as well in this issue, so we only got a taste of that last issue. Just
yeah,
yeah. Speaking of Mask, we talked about Mask earlier, and that's when this came out, that's what it reminded me of, right? So
yeah,
it's different. It's like completely different, but it definitely has that kind of vibe with the masks that they or with the helmets they wear and everything. So
yeah.
yeah.
I
This
got that deluxe hardcover last week. It
yeah,
came out.
I
It's
saw
only
it. Can't wait.
$40. Like, it's
Yeah.
cheap for a hardcover. And I was reading, I'm like halfway through it already. Reading through it, and it's like it's cool to reread it again. And because it was such a light comic book week, I actually had a chance to read something else.
Yeah.
But oh my god, the art in that larger size, oh
I can
gosh,
imagine.
it's so good, man. So good.
He's such a good artist. Yeah.
Oh, he's like my favorite. Like, he really, really is. Like, when he did Justice League, man, I just praised him when he did it on New 52, and
Mhm.
it's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Stunning. All right, so the last book we had to talk about, like I said, was on all our lists. Mine and Cat's number 3, Mike's number 2 is DCKO Night Fight, and this is Batman's journey back into the tournament somehow. So we're going to see him fight another Batman and different things like that. So
And I think I feel like it's like Joshua Williamson and Dan Mora doing this. Let me look. Yeah, it's Joshua Williamson and
yeah,
Dan Mora. So this is like a
amazing.
tie-in, and I
Right.
love
This is
that. I
the
love
complete
that.
tie-in. This is like
Yeah.
Superman and Batman are probably the main tie-ins to
Mm.
this thing.
Of course. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm excited. Like, obviously, that was the big cliffhanger of KO is what happened to
Mhm.
Batman. So I
Right.
want to see what happens to him. And it's kind of fun that Matt Fraction's Batman is so out of pocket that you can enjoy that while you're enjoying this and not feel like it's like, oh my God, how can these two things be going on at the same time? I feel like Matt Fraction is almost purposely doing, like here's
like,
yeah,
this is a
stories.
completely different thing.
Yeah. Which I like. It makes it more believable that this event's happening.
Right. I mean, it's really cool because it's kind of like, you know how we were all wondered, we're like, oh yeah, how is, it's like Batman couldn't share the spotlight. He had to get his own darn comic book for this event, which I thought was hilarious.
And another cool thing is that this was just announced at New York Comic Con and it's already out. It's like, that's really cool. I expected it to be like towards the end of November or whatever. And then it was just like when I saw it, okay, we're getting this right now. That's cool. We don't have to wait to find out.
And all the months are really like pacing very well because obviously this month we have like this book, and then next month we have all the battles that we've been waiting for. It'd be like the actual tournament champion style thing. So this again, I love when an event can do this, and it's been since Blackest Night that I felt this way, honestly.
Same.
This is an event I feel like so far that it's done right. So I'm excited.
I also agree with Mike. I don't know how Dan Moore draws so quickly. He does he draws so quickly.
Yeah, and it's not just the quickness. It's like consistent. It's
exactly
never feels like he rushed anything. It just he's so good.
And he doesn't have a cartoony style. Like it's very detailed. So it's like if you have a cartoonier style, you go a little bit quicker, but like it is extremely detailed. So go for Dan Moore being a clone, I guess.
And that's
it.
That's right?
It. That's all of them.
And that's it. That's all the most anticipated. It is
almost
now
a 2-hour show with little news and little books.
That's what happened. Right? Got into a very passionate conversation about X-Men. Maybe one day the X-Men will be back on top. Hopefully, we can only hope. So we'll see. Time will tell. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this show. Happy New Comic Book Day. We got new comic books getting ready to hit the store shelves, or they're probably on the shelves now. They're just waiting for us to get there and buy them. Much larger comic book week. So hopefully you guys find everything that you're looking for. Hopefully you enjoyed the show. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for your comments. We'll be back next week for hopefully a better and stronger episode, maybe a topic to talk about that's that it might interest you a little bit more besides, X-Men, but we're here.
That's how bad X-Men's at right now, is that people don't even want to talk about how to make it successful.
Yeah, right. They're like, I'm over X-Men. That's so funny. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening. Just make sure you subscribe to our channel. It's Comic Book Corner 2.0. Only good comics. Comic Uno. Hit the bell for those notifications. Happy New Comic Book Day. We'll see you guys next week. Take care, everyone. Good night.